Hey, all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly values, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there, my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel. I'm your hostess, femininity coach, and author of The Crimson Cure, and this is my perspective. So we got another one here that tells her quick story about why she's left her husband. And I'm going to let it play through, and then I'm going to go back over it a little bit just to let you hear some very key things that she's saying. So here we go.
My husband anymore. His energy is impacting my energy. I got with my husband out of potential. He had the potential to be a great earner, to be a great father. And you know what? He is a great father, a great provider. He's not a great partner. I am chaotic and wild, and I love that about me. And for the longest time, he anchored me. He held me down. I would be fine doing everything on my own. He just makes things a little easier with childcare and money and money. Maybe he'll change. He won't. And if he does change, it's not at the pace that I am changing. And I am changing so rapidly. I need to fly away. I want this dissolved.
A few moments later.
I feel like I've been going through the stages of grief of my marriage for the past 4 years. I got sober, I got healthy, and I realized if I worked on myself enough, then we would fit better. So much couples counseling, so much individual therapy, so much internal trauma work only made our disconnect stronger.
I don't want to be with my husband anymore. His energy is impacting my energy.
Now we're going to pause that right there. His energy is impacting my energy. That is what it's supposed to do. You're married. Your husband's energy is supposed to impact your energy. You impact his energy as well. Because of this fact, due to the fact that husbands and wives impact each other's energy, and as a matter of fact, anybody that lives together, living under the same roof in the same household, you're going to impact each other's energy. If somebody's got bad energy, it can permeate throughout everything. If someone has good energy, it permeates throughout everything. Because of this fact, this is why you got to watch your energy. If you woke up on the wrong side of the bed this morning, that's fine. You're a human being. You are allowed to do that. You're allowed to have a bad day. What you're not allowed to do is take out that bad day on your spouse. You're not allowed to do that. Not allowed to take out your frustration, whatever it is. If it doesn't have anything to do with your husband or your wife, there's no reason to direct it at them. That's one thing that a lot of people, I realize, don't know how to do. They don't know how to direct their emotions. Direct them. And if you have to direct your emotions toward yourself, do it. But many times when we feel a certain kind of way and when we feel bad, we want to direct our emotions to the closest thing to us, and that's usually our spouse or our children, and we'll take things out on them to make ourselves feel better. But what you don't understand is the damage that you do to them, and you negatively impact the way that they see you and the way that they interact with you and the way that they experience you. She said something else too that I want to point out.
I got with my husband out of potential. He had the potential to be a great earner, to be a great father. And you know what? He is a great father, a great provider. He's not a great partner.
She says this. She got with her husband because of the potential of him being a great father and a great provider. In and of itself, nothing wrong with that. You're supposed to be able to vet, and you're supposed to be able to have the level of discernment where you can kind of see where this is going to go. If you play this out to its logical conclusions, as a woman, you should be able to sort of figure that out. If the vetting process is an honest one between yourself and him prior to the commitment of a marriage, you should be able to discern this person might not be a good XYZ, because of the things that they say and do at present. Right? So even if they don't have children, so you can't see whether or not they'll be a good dad. Do they have children that they interact with, and how do they interact with them? Do they seem standoffish with children? Do children gravitate towards them? Do they interact well with them? You can kind of see it if you can see it. You know what I mean? To determine whether or not this man that you may want to be married to or are courting with, or he's courting you, has the potential to be a good provider. Well, what trajectory is he on in his life? You know, and he's on this trajectory whether you were present or not. This is the trajectory he's on. You're trying to see, can you join it? Right? That's a valid discernment piece. That's a valid vetting piece. So her saying that she married him for this potential is actually not the bad thing. The bad thing is that she said he lived up to it. The problem is that you're not satisfied with the potential that he fulfilled, because that's not what you wanted. She wasn't honest with herself about what she wanted. She didn't understand, and I'm going to go deeper. She didn't understand what that comes with. And the next couple of sentences is going to prove it.
I'm chaotic and wild, and I love that about me. And for the longest time, he anchored me. He held me down. I would be fine doing everything.
I'm chaotic and wild, and I love that about me. And for many years, he anchored me. The issue, that's the issue right there. There was no other issue in that marriage, I guarantee you, that broke that marriage. What broke that marriage was that he had too much order. See, I know what I'm talking about when I talk about this order stuff. And women are naturally chaotic. It's just that some women, i.e., lionesses, understand submission to order. We understand it and we do it. We understand that if you submit to the proper order of a righteous husband, that is more beneficial to us than always operating in our own chaotic state, because we are not capable of leading ourselves to that degree. We don't produce order. We don't produce it. Order as in system, order, and structure. We don't actually produce that. We can try to do things in an orderly way, like, you have a schedule all day and things of that nature. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about a schedule. I'm talking about the order of life, the actual structure and the trajectory. Okay, these are the goals. This is where we're going. This is where we're headed. And this is the way we're going to get there. If we live our lives in this manner, we'll get there. Women naturally we're not predisposed to that. Men are predisposed to that type of thinking. Okay? So that's the difference between a lioness and a hyena. The hyenas they get tired of that order real quick, because she said he anchored me. It's supposed to feel like you're not able to do everything that pop up in your head. That's the point. That's the point. That's the point of submission, because it checks you. It checks what you can and cannot do. Order actually checks what you can and cannot do. That is what rules are for. That is what laws are for. Whether you're talking about secular law or whether you're talking about Allah's law, all of the law, all of the structure, it all serves the same purpose: to check your inclination to do whatever it is that you want to do, because all the things that occur to you that you may want to do are not always best for you and not always best for the people around you. It's not always the best idea. She's following her chaotic nature right now. We're trying to divorce her husband. It wasn't the best idea. It wasn't the best for her children. It wasn't the best for her. It might have been better for him. But in truth, it hurt him too, because he had to grieve the death of a marriage. a life that he had planned too. See, these hyenas don't get it that men plan the life too. They plan the future. They're the ones that's supposed to be the architect of it. So, of course, they've planned it out. They've seen and imagined you and their children with them in this particular place 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now. This is where he wants to be. Women think they're the only one that imagine their futures. And this is how I'm going to spend my future with this man. But that was the whole problem in her relationship, was that statement right there and everything that she did. And see, if he looks back on it, he'll realize that he missed the signs for her. She, with that attitude, she never followed his system, order, and structures. Anytime that he had a particular thing, way that things were going to go down, how things, she didn't want to follow instruction, and things she liked to do what she wanted to do, regardless of the consequence or the outcome. There was no checking her. She wouldn't be checked. Anytime that he tried to enforce, hey, this, what's going on? We had a plan. We talked about that. What happened? And instead of her getting back in order and saying, you know what? I did step out of bounds. I apologize for that. You pointed out the error of what I was doing. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'll get back in order. It won't happen again. I'll correct myself. No correction. No submitting back under the order. She's arrogant about it. And you tell me, you're always trying to control that. And I wanted to point that out. Those are the two biggest things that I wanted to point out about what she was saying. But the thing that killed the marriage was that thinking. He anchored me. A man is supposed to be your anchor. Women will fly away. We will, in our own world. Men are there to anchor us. That's what they're there for. We talk about anchors like anchors are a bad thing. No ship would ever be deployed without an anchor to it, because it has to be able to be anchored at some point. Or else a ship will do what? Drift and drift and drift and drift. Eventually to sink. You have to have an anchor. You have to. You have to. That's what men are for. Men are there to corral the chaotic nature of women. That's one of the interactions between us. That is what a husband do. That's what a groom does to a bride. She's bridled to him so he can groom. And people don't understand that. This is why I don't say partner. Husband and wife, because those roles have actual definitions to them and expectations and rights. She wanted to be unbridled, i.e. a divorce. And she got what she wanted, and he's still mad. Still mad. Anyway, I just wanted to point that out. Jump down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your hostess, The Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.